Hello soulmate, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If this is your first time of seeing my channel, thank you for stopping by. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you for watching. So in today's tutorial, we're going to be learning how to make this blouse that has a stylish asymmetric monostrap neck design. So if you're interested in learning this, please join me while we get started. Okay, so place your pattern paper on the fold and go ahead and mark the starting line at the top. Draw a straight line there. Mark your shoulder to bust, shoulder to underbust, shoulder to waist, and then the shoulder to hip, and draw straight lines across. So my shoulder to waist, I'm using 16 inches, and the distance between the waist and the hip is 8 inches. Then I'm using the shoulder to bust of 9.5 and shoulder to the underbust of 13 inches. I went ahead to label them like so. So now I'm going to come to the shoulder line, which is going to be my starting line, and I take my shoulder measurement divided by 2, which is 7 inches. I came down by 1 inch, and from that 1 inch I marked 7 inches, which is the armhole depth. And that armhole depth is derived by dividing your bust circumference by 6 and adding 1.5. So at that point I drew a straight line, and that line became my chest line. I went ahead to label it as well. So I'm also going to mark the shoulder measurement divided by 2 on that chest line, and I'm going to connect this line together from the 1 inch I came down from that starting point. So after connecting this line together, I'm going to mark my neck depth of my neck width rather of 3 inches, and I'm going to connect it to that 1 inch I came down below from that shoulder line for my shoulder slope. Now I'm going to take the midpoint of the armhole depth like this, and I'm going to come in by 0.5 inch. I'm going to mark the bust circumference divided by 4 on the chest line, and I'm connecting these 3 points together with my armhole curve. So I'm working with a bust circumference of 34 inches. So after doing this, I'm going to be marking my bust span. My bust span measurement is also known as your nipple to nipple measurement, and I'm working with this bust span of 7 inches, of which I'm going to divide by 2, 3.5, and I'm marking that 3.5 from the bust line down to the hip line, and I'm connecting them with a straight line. Okay, so after connecting them with a straight line, I'm going to come to the bust line, and I'm going to come down below that bust line by 0.75. Okay, the reason why I'm doing this is because I'm trying to avoid sharp edges. So on the underbust line, I marked 0.5 inch facing towards the center front and 1 inch towards the side front. I repeated the same thing on the hip line, and I connected this line together like this. So if you're a plus size, you can mark 0.75 facing towards the center front and 1.5 or 1.25 towards the side. Okay, then connect it. So now I'm going to connect these points together to make that 0.75 I came down below the bust, and then the under bust, just like I'm doing right now. So you're just going to place your curve properly and connect it together. Okay, so for this blouse we're going to be using the princess dart. So for us to derive that, I'm going to take the measurement I have for my armhole curve, and you can see the way I'm taking it so that I can get it right. I'm going to divide it by 2 like this, and I'm going to place that half of it at the armhole curve and mark it there, and I'm going to be using my curve like this to connect that point where I mark the armhole to meet the bust pan line on the bust point. See, I'm trying to avoid sharp edges at that area. Okay, so after doing this, I came down by 1 inch, and I'm going to connect that part to meet the bust pan line as well. So this is me trying to take a dart at that point. So when I connected it together, I'm going to come from that place I took that dart of 1 inch and extend that 1 inch dart from the lower part like this, and I'm going to connect it together. So after connecting it, I'll place my armhole curve at that point and connect it to meet the point where I mark my bust circumference divided by 4 earlier for the armhole. So that part where I drew now, the part I drew earlier is not going to be used. That is, the armhole is not going to be used. I'm going to be working with this new armhole curve. Okay, so I also went to indicate the areas that I'll be taking off. That's to show that it is a dart. Now I'm going to impute the body measurements, dividing them by 4. I'm working with a waist measurement of 26 inches and an underbust measurement of 28 inches. So I went ahead to divide them by 4, and I added the 1.5 inches allowance that I took on the underbust to waist and hip. I added them after marking the hip circumference divided by 4, waist circumference divided by 4, and the underbust circumference divided by 4. I'm also working with a hip measurement of 36 inches. So after doing that, I went ahead to connect them together with my curve like this. After that, I'm going to take my bust dart. The bust dart is the difference between the shoulder to to waist at the front and the shoulder to waist at the back. So for the front is 16 inches and for the back is 14.5. The difference is 1.5, and I came down from the bust line at the side by 1.5 and connected it to the bust span line. I've also indicated it that it's going to be taking off. So now we're going to be achieving the hem design, and after that we move on to the neck design. So from the center front to from the waist, I came down by 5 inches and I marked it there. Then towards the dart around the center front, I marked 6 inches. So I'm going to take my curve ruler. I just want it to be a little bit curvy. I don't want it to be too curvy, or then I don't want it to be straight. So I went ahead to connect them together like this. Then I also came to the other side of the dart towards the side, and I'm going to mark 6 inches there as well. This is just to ensure that they match each other after cutting it. Then from the side of the waist, I mark 5 inches. So you can see I mark 6 inches towards the area I have the dart. Just to show that they are equal, I'm just going to show you by drawing a straight line like this. You can see. So even when we close the dart, it's going to be equal. So from here, it has a little bit of designs that is up and down. I'm just going to try and create something like that. I came in by 1.5 inches. So I actually came in by 1 inch and I realized that it's quite small. So I marked 1.5 inches from that part and I came up by 1 inch. So I'm connecting that part to meet the part where I marked at the top, as you can see. So I'm going to mark 1 inch from the side and I'm going to come down by 1 inch, and I'm going to also create this is actually optional. It's not a must you use your ruler or measurement to get this point. You can just use your free hand to get the design yourself. It's still going to work. Okay, just ensure that the lines are straight. So after that, we're going to be getting the neck design. So I'm going to transfer what I have on one side to the other side, and then to make my work very easy, I'm going to go ahead and cut the sides of it a little bit just to make the work a bit easy for us. So now from the neck area, I'm going to take one side of the shoulder and I mark 2 inches. From where I have the armhole, I mark 2 inches. So I'm going to be working from that part. So now for me to create this design, you can actually use your free hand instead of taking measurements and connecting them like this. They are still going to work. So I marked 3.5 inches from the chest line. I came up by 3.5 inches from the center, and I came in from that center by 2.5 inches. So now I'm trying to use my curve to create a kind of curve at that point, as you can see, where I'm going to connect it. But I realized that it's not giving me what I want. You can see the edges are sharp and it's not giving me the exact curve that I need. So I went ahead to use my free hand. Okay, so I advise you just use your free hand to do this, but if you can use your curve to get it right, then go ahead and do so. Now towards this side, I'm going to be working from that area like that. I just went ahead to do a slight curve there, which is about 2.5 inches. Then I went to connect it together like this, and even after connecting it, I realized that point is still a bit sharp and I do not like it. So I went ahead to use my hand to smoothen it. So I'll advise you just use your free hand to get it, but if you can place your curve properly to get it well, then you're good to go. So at this point, we have gotten the neck design. I'm just going to go ahead and cut it. So before I cut the other part of the dress, the other part of the paper, I'll just cut out this neck design out first, because I realized that when I was trying to transfer the other side of the pattern to the first part, to the plain part, I made a mistake somewhere. So for me to cut it, I'm going to close it and use this part where I didn't make a mistake to cut it, so that it's going to be okay. So but if you transfer yours and you did it very properly, you did it well without any mistake, then you're fine to cut it sideways. I hope you understand what I'm saying. So after cutting it, I closed the bust dart and connected it back like this, as you can see. Then I'll just go ahead and cut it out. At this point, if you find this tutorial helpful, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel so you can be notified when we upload new videos. So as you can see, this is what it is. I'm not going to be working with that other side. Like I said, I'm going to be working with one side. So I'll just cut the side front two of it, and then the center front is just going to be one, which is on fold. So now for the back pattern, you can see I've gone ahead to draw the straight line at the top. I've marked the shoulder to bust, shoulder to waist, shoulder to hip. So the shoulder to waist here is 14.5, and from there I mark 8 inches from the waist to get the hip. Then I've also gone ahead to mark the armhole depth and the chest line. same way I did it at the front. Then from the side, I mark 1.5 inches, which is going to be where I'll be marking my zipper allowance before the starting line, that is the vertical starting line. Okay, so I hope you understand what I'm saying. If you don't understand, please leave your question in the comment section. So I went ahead to connect the armhole curve after marking the neck width of 3 inches and connecting my shoulder slope. So now at this point, I'm marking my bust span measurement divided by 2 from the chest line down to the hip, and I'm connecting it with a straight line. So here I'm going to be taking my dart on the waist, and I'm going to mark half an inch on both sides. If you're a plus size, please use 0.75 or 1 inch. I came down from the waistline by 4 inches and I connected them together like this. Then I also connected the waist to the chest line like that for the dart. And then from the waist, I came from the center back and I mark half an inch, which I'm going to connect up towards the chest line and connect down towards the hip. This is me trying to avoid zipper bulging and ensure that the back is properly snatched, just to ensure that that place is properly snatched because the back is not straight. Okay, so now I'm just imputing the body measurements, dividing them by 4 and adding the necessary allowance, that is the dart allowance. So when you're drafting your pattern, you can add your seam allowance if you wish to, although I did not add it here. You can do that. So the hem area, I marked 5 inches rather from the side of the waist, that is below the waist, and towards the center back I also mark half 5 inches, and then on the dart area I mark 6 inches. Then I connected these points together. So now for the zipper, I went ahead to mark 1 inch across the zipper area like this. As you can see, the back is not straight. That's why I had to take my time to mark 1 inch all round, and I'm going to label it for us to know that that is the zipper allowance area. So now for us to get the neck design right, that we have to turn it, but to make it easy for me, I went ahead to cut it out. Okay, I just cut that paper out so that we can turn it and work on it. Okay, so before transferring what I have on this side to the other side, I went ahead to cut it out properly. Okay, I went ahead to cut it out, including the armhole and the shoulder area. I went ahead to cut it, but then I realized that I didn't put that princess dart here, although it's not compulsory because the back of this dress is not seen. So me doing this is just me trying to create the back of this dress. So if you don't want it like this, you can just leave your dart the way it is. It's not compulsory, you have to make it a princess dart. So now after transferring what I have on that side to this side, I have to take my front piece and place it like this so that I can be sure of where the shoulder is going to be, because one side has a shoulder and one side does not have a shoulder. So this is the best way to get it. Okay, so when you do it, you're just going to go ahead and trace it. You can use your tracing wheel to mark it, or use your marker pen or your pencil. So when I was doing this, I realized that I made a mistake. What I was supposed to do was to cut out the zipper area, and that's the reason why it's not corresponding. So I'll just quickly go ahead and cut out the zipper area, remove the excesses at that side, and then I'm going to close the area where I have the zipper at the top, and I'll use it to cover the other side and then secure it with my tape. So after doing that, this is how it's supposed to be. Now I'm going to go ahead and place it properly the way it's supposed to be and turn it like this. As you can see, now I'm going to go ahead and trace it out with my marker pen so that we can see. So remember, you can use your tracing wheel, you can use your pencil, whatever you want to use is fine. So now we have gotten it right. I'll just go ahead and cut out that part. Okay, so after cutting that part, I'll go ahead and cut out the other parts of the dress. So at this point, we are actually done with this tutorial. If you find this tutorial helpful, please ensure to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Okay, so I'm also going to get the princess dart by tracing this part on the other side so that it can appear on the other side, and I'm going to trace it and I'm going to cut it out as well. After cutting it out, I'll label it side back and center back, and then after that I am done with the drafting of this dress. Okay, so mates, if you're a beginner or a fashion lover, you want to go into the fashion industry and you want to start from somewhere, we have our beginner class which is commencing this month, May. So if you're interested, please send the number to the WhatsApp number displayed on the screen. Thank you guys for watching. See you in my next video.